What if Padme and Anakin broke up? Let's start this towards the end of the Clone Wars. Anakin's recent jealousy of Rush Clovis has stained his relationship with Padme. Anakin's immaturity and outrage because of his jealousy has caused Padme to fall out of touch and out of love with Anakin. She thought he was better than that, but he's nothing better than a little boy who can't have control over his own emotions when he doesn't get his way. Because of this, after the Rush Clovis incident, Padme sits down with Anakin in their apartment. She explains to him how she doesn't feel the connection to him that she once did, and in light of recent events, has decided to end their relationship. Anakin looks at her in utter disbelief. This is not what he was expecting. He pleads with her to rethink her decision and tells her that he loves her. But Padme tells Anakin that she has thought this through and is sure. She tells him that she will sleep at a hotel for the night, but Anakin puts his head down and tells her that it's okay. He tells her that she should stay and that he'll go to the Jedi Temple. There's always a room for him there. Anakin decides to walk a lot of the way back. He's deep in his thoughts, but this isn't very good for him. He's almost in a trance as he heads back to the temple. First his apprentice Ahsoka left him, and now Padme. He's almost lost everything. He continues to walk head down with no regard for his surroundings. Negative emotions are clouding his judgment and he isn't thinking straight. As he is walking, he bumps into a Twi'lek who turns around and yells back at him. Anakin keeps walking and doesn't even realize what has happened. The Twi'lek and his friends rush after Anakin and push him back. Anakin tumbles to the ground in surprise. Who has attacked him from behind, he thinks. He gets to his hands and knees and something comes over him, a feeling he has never felt before. Pure blood-boiling rage. He gets up and force pushes the man who pushed him a good 10 meters and he bangs against the far wall. His three friends stood up with terrified looks on their face. Anakin pulls two of them close with the force and punches them to the ground. He uses force choke on the last and walks towards him. Anakin hears a voice.
The Jedi have failed you. If you want real power, give in to your hate.
Hearing the voice snaps Anakin out of his rage, and he blinks a few times in succession and releases the Twi'lek to the ground. A group of clones rush over and try to stop the commotion. They put Anakin in handcuffs and bring him to his knees. Anakin complies. He doesn't want to get in any more trouble than he already is. The next day, Obi-Wan shows up to the jail Anakin spent the night in. He pays Anakin's holding fee and the two leave. They walk out in silence towards Obi-Wan's ship. He asks Anakin if he wants to tell him what that was about, but Anakin remains in silence and continues towards the ship. Obi-Wan's smart. He knows the only thing that could lead Anakin to do something like this. He asks Anakin if this has anything to do with Senator Padme Amidala. Anakin flicks his head towards Obi-Wan and tells him to leave it, and the two of them fly back in silence. The Clone War continues, but Anakin's breakup has changed him. Previously his love and affection for Padme was the driving force behind him, but now he has nothing. A master that was forced to train him and an unappreciative Jedi Order. Now the only thing he desires is power, and power he will achieve. He wants more. Anakin accepts every mission and wants to spend as little time as he can on Coruscant. He doesn't want to be near Padme or feel her presence in the Force. Anakin and Obi-Wan are contacted by Ahsoka in order to aid her mission to take out Darth Maul on Mandalore. Anakin seeing Ahsoka and the hope of her potentially rejoining the Order brightens him, which starts to pull him back from the dangerous path he is going down. Ahsoka notices Anakin's change, but chooses to ignore it. Anakin and Obi-Wan are sent to save the Chancellor after his abduction by Count Dooku. They succeed in finding Palpatine but are confronted by Count Dooku. Count Dooku takes them both on. He manages to render Obi-Wan unconscious, but Anakin's exponential growth and power leads him to killing the Sith Lord. Ultimately, the Chancellor is saved and brought back to Coruscant. Obi-Wan tells Anakin to enjoy the success and congratulates him, in which he does. He enjoys the praise and gratitude from the politicians. He does one quick look around to see if Padme is there, but luckily she isn't. Anakin misses the meeting on the Outer Rim sieges. Obi-Wan stands there gloomingly and tells Anakin that the Senate will vote for more emergency powers towards the Chancellor. He continues to say that the dark side clouds the Chancellor and that he should be careful of his so-called friend. Anakin is taken aback by what Obi-Wan has said. How can he attack his friend, one of the only people who he has left in his life? Anakin doesn't say anything and Obi-Wan tells him that Palpatine has requested his presence. This is the beginning of the rift between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin meets with his friend Chancellor Palpatine, who tells Anakin that he has noticed he has been different when he saved him from General Grievous and Count Dooku. Of course, Palpatine knows that Padme and Anakin have broken up, and is going to use this against him. Palpatine asks Anakin for his help, and that he needs him. He asks him to be the eyes and ears on the Jedi Council. Anakin is taken aback. Himself, a master? It's all he's ever wanted. This will be monumental on his journey towards power. He will now have access towards the restricted section in the Jedi archives. He will learn all the secrets of the Force, and his close friend Palpatine will give this to him, the friend Obi-Wan told him to be wary of. We all know what happens next. The Jedi Council allow Anakin's appointment, but they find it disturbing. Anakin is appointed to the council, but is not granted the rank of master. He outrages in front of the whole council and expresses this. He is told to take a seat. He asks himself how Obi-Wan could agree to this and casts him a sly look. Obi-Wan and Anakin leave. Obi-Wan tells him to calm down. The Jedi don't like it when the Chancellor gets involved in Jedi business. Obi-Wan gives Anakin the task of spying on the Chancellor and reporting his dealings to the council. Anakin scoffs at Obi-Wan and asks him if this was the reason they appointed him. Obi-Wan doesn't say anything, which is enough of a yes that Anakin needs. After, Anakin meets with the Chancellor and they discuss the history of the Sith, how they achieved ultimate power and many abilities some considered to be unnatural. This is Palpatine manipulating Anakin. He knows about his desire for power, he can sense it, and intends to fulfill it. He concludes by saying that General Grievous has been found on Utapau, and that he wants to suggest to the council that he be selected for the task. Anakin nods, and they sit in silence. The next day, Palpatine and Anakin meet in his office. They talk about the minor things until Palpatine brings up that his master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, has been seen leaving the residence of a senator's apartment in the early hours of the morning. Anakin asks Palpatine if they should go question him, referring to the senator. But Palpatine responds by telling Anakin that it's a she and that he knows her quite well. Anakin is stunned. Obi-Wan's left a female senator's apartment in the early hours of the day. That could only mean one thing, but Palpatine said that Anakin knows her well. Padme is the only female senator that he knows. Could she and Obi-Wan be having an affair? Before Anakin can question further, Padme and multiple senators enter. They discuss how the delegation of 2000 wished for there to be no more amendments to the Constitution of the Republic. Palpatine tells him that he will do the right thing to end the conflict, and when he does, there will be a swift return to democracy. Padme, on behalf of their committee, thanks the Chancellor, and they leave. However, she looks to Anakin and asks if they can speak afterwards. Anakin stumbles on his words and tells her that of course he will. They leave and Palpatine begins his manipulation. He tells Anakin that he feels something is off, and that they must have an ulterior motive.
They're not to be trusted.
And surely Senator Amidala can be trusted.
These are unstable times for the Republic, Anakin. Some see instability as an opportunity. Senator Amidala is hiding something. I can see it in her eyes.
Anakin scoffs at the idea. There's no way Padme is having an affair with Obi-Wan. She can't be. What else could Palpatine be referring to? Padme waits for Anakin outside. She tells him that she would like him to come and pick up his things from their apartment. She turns around to leave, and Anakin asks if there's anything else, and she tells him that there isn't. Frustrated, Anakin lets her go and goes to pick up his things later in the day. When he reaches the apartment, he feels something is wrong. He looks at Padme and asks her if Obi-Wan was there in the morning. She tells him that he was, and that he came because he was worried about Anakin. Anakin feels his rage. She basically confirmed it to him. Anakin grabs his things and leaves. He will confront Obi-Wan himself. Palpatine sits in his office with a grin on his face. He knows he has Skywalker under his belt. He successfully created distrust and discontent between Anakin and the Jedi and has put a rift between Anakin and Obi-Wan. He feels no guilt about his manipulations. He knew Obi-Wan just went to see Padme to ask if she knew why Anakin has been different recently, nothing more. There was no affair. But this allowed him the perfect chance to turn brothers against each other. Obi-Wan and Padme are not having an affair, but Anakin definitely thinks so. He also thinks that Padme was using Clovis as an excuse to leave him, but really she was in love with Obi-Wan. However, we know Anakin is wrong, and Sidious is just manipulating him. Anakin arrives late to the council meeting. He tells him that the Chancellor has found General Grievous on Utapau, and that he suggested that Anakin leads the campaign. He is quickly shut down, and Obi-Wan is nominated to go. He shoots Obi-Wan an angry look. First he takes his wife, and now interrupts his journey for power. The session finishes, and Obi-Wan heads off straight away. Anakin goes to the Chancellor and tells him that Obi-Wan has been sent. He elaborates to say he feels excluded, and that there are things about the Force that they're not telling him. We know how the rest of the conversation goes. Palpatine reveals to Anakin that he's a Sith Lord. He tells that together Anakin can achieve his dream of power and break free from the chains the Jedi have created around him. Hey guys, before we continue, we're giving away a replica Cal Kestis lightsaber from Neo Sabers for reaching 10,000 subscribers. All you need to do to enter is like and comment on my other video called What If Qui-Gon Survived. Don't comment on this video, you have to comment on that video. There is a link to it in the description or check it out on our channel page. Also check out Neo Sabers for some cool lightsabers at an affordable price. Now back to the video. Anakin pledges himself to the Sith Lord and is given the title Darth Vader. Padme leaving him and believing that she and Obi-Wan are having an affair is a much more compelling turn to the dark side than Anakin seeking the power to save his wife. He wouldn't tell Mace about Palpatine's identity. Palpatine discusses the plan. The Jedi must be taken out for the Republic to be rid of corruption, and they will do this together. Anakin would do it with his last true friend. Order 66 is executed, and Vader and Sidious make their way towards the temple. They have the backing of the clones, thousands of them. Sidious tells Vader that to fully embrace the dark side, he needs to break away from the chains of his past. They can feel the death of Jedi all around the galaxy and are bathing in it. The power of the dark side has never been stronger, and they know that the Jedi inside the temple can also feel it. The purge begins and they start killing Jedi left, right and center. Their presence was felt by the 5 remaining council members on Coruscant, and they make their way to the lower levels to try and deal with them. Leading them is Mace Windu, who is shocked to see Anakin tearing through multiple Jedi. He goes to yell his name before a hooded figure with 2 lightsabers darts at tremendous speed behind him and cuts the neck of Saesee Tiin and Kit Fisto. Agen Kolar blocks the strike on him, but now this unknown Sith is pressing on them. Anakin joins the fray, now 2v3. Mace sees the unknown figure's hood move backwards to expose the face of Chancellor Palpatine. Mace's worst feelings have been realized. Vader cuts down Shak Ti and Sidious Agen Kolar. They stand staring at Mace and Sidious lowers his hood and smiles. Sidious sends lightning towards Mace who blocks it, but Vader rushes towards him and slices the Jedi Master, a strike he took much joy in delivering. The Jedi Temple falls. All Jedi within are destroyed. Sidious goes to hold a Senate meeting and Vader is sent to Mustafar. Obi-Wan meets with Yoda and the two head to the Jedi Temple. They watch the video recordings of Sidious and Vader, Palpatine and Anakin purging through the Jedi Temple. Yoda decides to go after Sidious and tells Obi-Wan to go for Vader. Sidious expects this and knew Obi-Wan would seek out Padme at her home to find out where Anakin was. Because of this, Sidious sends Vader to Padme's home after going to Mustafar to get answers for her betrayal. He knew this would satisfy Anakin. Vader comes back from Mustafar and goes straight to Padme's home and catches them at the right time. Vader enters to see Obi-Wan and Padme. To Vader, it looks like he's just caught their affair red-handed and doesn't need any more confirmation. He will deal with them there. However, there is no affair, and Obi-Wan is simply asking Padme where she thinks Anakin is. Vader starts walking towards them. Obi-Wan goes to reason with him, but Vader ignites his blade and the two begin fighting. Padme begins screaming at the two to stop, but Vader doesn't listen. Obi-Wan yells for Padme to leave and she makes her way towards her freighter. The fight is rough and brutal. Vader doesn't hold back and doesn't mind truly hurting Obi-Wan. There is no conflict in his mind. Vader knows the terrain of his previous house and uses it to his advantage. He enters one of the rooms and darts to the left. As soon as Obi-Wan enters, he pulls down a huge marble statue onto Obi-Wan with the Force, and Obi-Wan is forced to drop his blade to hold it up. Vader wastes no time. Obi-Wan realizes what is about to happen. He goes to throw the statue away but is too slow. Vader throws the lightsaber towards him and pierces the body of Kenobi. Vader leaves and his power has never been stronger. However, Padme was nowhere to be seen. She will be dealt with later. He heads to Sidious's office to find no one there. He checks the monitor on the screen to see him and Yoda fighting in the Senate chambers. He rushes to join them. They are in a standoff, Sidious throwing lightning at Yoda who is blocking it with all his strength. Using the Force, Anakin jumps across the Senate chambers and lands behind Yoda. Yoda senses this however and jumps out of the way of Sidious's lightning, which crashes into Anakin and sends him flying backwards. Yoda jumps after Vader and Sidious follows. He tries to get the jump on Vader before he can recover, but it's no use. Vader gets up and blocks the flurry from Yoda. Sidious behind him throws his own set of blows towards Yoda. The Grand Master is too old. He can't handle this kind of pressure. He succumbs to their strikes one by one, receiving slashes from either Sith Lord as he is stopped in his tracks and flops to the ground, lifeless. Sidious's grand plan is now complete. He can control all of the Republic and the Jedi are no more. Vader has true power and can only get stronger. He has killed Obi-Wan, who he believes stole his wife from him. The only thing left for him to get his hands on is Padme herself. Thanks for watching, guys. I believe that Anakin thinking Obi-Wan and Padme having an affair is a much stronger motivation for him turning to the dark side. he would truly hate Obi-Wan and blame him for destroying his marriage. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see in part 2.